BastionOS is an incremental tower defense game, and I got to make the gameplay song for it. The song is called Crystal Grass, and I'll show you how I made it. So the song sounds like this. The developers of BastionOS, Feral Paw, wanted a chill synthwave-inspired song. They wanted something chill to match the gameplay of an incremental game, and they wanted something synthwave-inspired because the game has a techie aesthetic. So there is a lot of instruments in this song, but thankfully they don't all play at once. So let's start by breaking down the core instruments, the most important instruments of the song. And let's start with the drums. So the drums are pretty typical drum and machine drums. Pretty typical for synthwave, but they play a more hip-hop style beat. I actually got a reference song for this by the developers, which was like that. It was a sort of synthwave inspired song with a more chill hop style beat. So I did something like that. Yeah. In contrast to this, a more normal synthwave drum beat might sound like a more constant hi-hat and a steady kick drum beat. In this case, the hi-hat has more of a bounce. There are sometimes two hi-hats in a row, sometimes an open hi-hat as an accent, and also the kick drum plays a slightly varied pattern with double kick drums here and there. There's also this drum loop which has a digital sound. It gives the song, well, a bit more of a digital feel and also makes it feel a bit more unique. Yeah. So then there is the bass, and the bass is a pretty simple synth bass. It plays an offbeat rhythm, which means that it plays in between the start of every beat. So at the start of every beat, the bass is silent. A very typical synthwave rhythm. And there are no melodic bass lines anywhere, there are no bass fills. It just plays this simple rhythm on the root note of each chord, and that's what it does. So then there is this synth pad, and this is what gives the song the thick synth background. Those big chords. It sounds like this. It plays simple chords, but to give it a bit more variation, sometimes it adds a note in the middle of a chord, sometimes it changes a note in the middle of a chord. Just small things to make it a little bit more interesting. Then there is this synth arpeggio. Arpeggio just means fast notes going up or down. And this plays the same notes as the synth pad, just one at a time and moving upwards. Sounds like this. And if you combine this with the other instruments, it gives the song a moving feeling, like it's moving forward, kind of like the bass. And the final core instrument of the song is this soft sounding synth. Sounds like this. And it's a sort of hybrid bell melody synth. In the verses it plays this sort of wistful melody. Sounds sort of mysterious. And then in the chorus it moves to the background and just plays little background notes. So if you would just play the core instruments of the song, it's sort of a complete song already. Yes, and these play throughout the entire song. Like I said before, there are a lot of instruments in this song. And let's look at the lead melodies now, the lead instruments. So first off, there is this bell, sounds like this. And this has a little call and response going on with that soft synth. The soft synth plays, the bell responds. And then in the chorus, the bell takes over. Yeah. So for a variation, at some parts of the song, the lead instrument changes to this other synth. Nice. Apart from these instruments, there are a lot of instruments that just pop up one time or only during one section, so let's just speedrun those. There's this drum loop during build-ups. Then there's this other drum loop during other build-ups. Then there is this bass guitar. I guess there was a melodic bass line after all. There's this riser and come down sound effect. In the build-ups to the chorus. During the post-chorus there is this droning synth bass. There's also this pulsing pad. And the filter that makes it sound muted like that actually opens up over time. It's like a build-up. One of the developers mentioned that in a reference song he gave me, he really liked the build-ups in the song, so the song has a lot of build-ups. Then there is brass, some synth brass here and there. Just for variation. A synth arpeggio. Again, just fast notes going up and down. Again with the filter. And then there are these flourishes. Just fast, sparkling, echoing notes. And these do play throughout the entire song sporadically. Again, a developer of this game said that he really liked this type of thing, so I made sure to add that. There is synth choir here and there. Synth string. And finally synth guitar. That sort of sounds like a new wave bossa nova from Majora's Mask. So you might have noticed that it was always synth brass, synth choir, synth strings, and synth guitar. And not real guitar, real strings. I used synth instruments to keep that digital sound. Alright, so those were all the instruments. The final thing is that there are automation which just like controls settings of instruments over time, like that filter that opens up. So this is a 10-minute song. Let's not listen to the full thing right now. I will link the full song down below. Let's listen to the first loop. Here is Crystal Grass from BastionOS.